I just wanted to take a moment this afternoon and give everyone an update on the Piney Point situation over on the Gulf Coast of Florida. It was all everyone could talk about last week, but strangely over the weekend and now early into this week, nobody's talking about it. And there's a very good reason. You see, over the weekend, we had a line of storms move through Florida. We even got some rain all the way over here on the East Coast. The area where Piney Point is actually got a huge deluge of rain. In fact, 10 Tampa Bay has actually reported on this, but it brings up an interesting question. What happens when it rains? 4 million gallons were added to the reservoir, and even 10 Tampa Bay is saying that that's absolutely nothing to worry about whatsoever. They have the situation under control. Now, the map I have on the left, I have drawn a red square to show the area of contamination that could possibly occur if the entire reservoir were dumped into the Gulf of Mexico. You can't see it? Let me zoom in a little farther. There it is. Clearly you can see the huge area of contamination that would... Wait, no, you still can't see the red square? Okay, hold on, I'll zoom in a little more. There. Now, clearly you can see the massive amount of contamination that would completely contaminate the entire... Oh, you still can't see it? All right, let's zoom in even more. This is the entire Piney Point Reservoir area that they are talking about. It's a little over 2 miles around, about 1 square kilometer. Now, let's assume this was all water. It's not, but let's assume it was. And you took the entire thing and you decided to dump it into the Gulf of Mexico. Do you see the point? Now, what they were really worried about, and the reason the governor got involved, was if the entire thing let go all at once, simultaneously, yes, it would have flooded out a lot of places. The wall of water would have been very high. But the slow release of water from the reservoir has been going on for years because it rains all the time in Florida. It's rained a lot more. We've had hurricanes. And the overflow seeps slowly into the Gulf. And you didn't hear anybody saying anything about this up until this point. What made it an emergency was there was a chance of a catastrophic quantity being released all at once. Not just the release of the water. Now, you don't want to go dumping this amount, day after day, week after week, entire reservoirs full. But the slow trickle, the overflows, have been flowing into the Gulf with no ill effects for a long time. You wouldn't want to go swimming in one of these reservoirs. Of course, that would be terrible. But put in perspective, where do you think the overflow would go? It's been draining out into Tampa Bay for decades. People go out here, people swim, people boat, people fish, people eat the fish, everything's fine. So this is the point I kind of wanted to make today, is that yes, it was a bad situation. And they needed to address it, and they needed to fix the hole. Of course they did. But the idea that there's so much water here that if it ended up in Tampa Bay or the Gulf of Mexico, that somehow it would cause this massive environmental disaster is just ridiculous. It's mostly salt water anyway. We covered this in another video where the port of Manatee took the leftovers that they pulled off the seafloor to dredge for the new port, and they deposited it here. it's not some huge area. And like I said, you wouldn't want to go swimming. You wouldn't want the entire thing to let loose and, run over the neighborhoods. That would be horrible. But this idea that somehow this horribly toxic radioactive sludge that could blah, 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 blah is just hyperbole. That's all it is. It's hyperbole. That's why no one's talking about it. Not even the environmentalists are talking about it. Pardon me. Because it is just one of these things that you have to deal with in modern society. It's part of life. They have moved on, and now they're talking about something else up in Minnesota. Another reason to leave the North. And please, if you really do want to talk about something that is worthy of getting worried, what's going on with La Soufriere in St. Vincent? This is biblical. What's going on there? This is going to be another Montserrat. There was another massive explosion today, bigger than any other. And with all of this pressure getting released, don't be surprised if in the next week, maybe 2, there isn't some very, very large earthquake somewhere around here. Because everything is all interconnected. You release pressure in one place, and things start to fill in. Nature abhors a vacuum. So we were watching all sorts of things happen not so very long ago in Puerto Rico. There was earthquake after earthquake after earthquake after earthquake, and then all of a sudden now everything quieted down, and then boom. This happened. So everything's going to take a while to shift. But once it's done, just pray for those people. And also keep in mind that there is a full court press by the entire national media to find any little thing in Florida to blow out of proportion and try to somehow hang around the neck of the governor. Because we're proving something that they are having a very hard time disproving. And people are asking questions, why is Michigan so bad? And why is Florida so good? When the predictions a year ago were the exact opposite. I'll leave it there. Like, share, subscribe. God bless. Have a great week.